Well, hello, welcome back to the channel, and believe it or not, welcome to a cod session, hopefully a cod session on the Northumberland coast. I've decided to chance my arm, maybe have a last roll of the dice for a couple hours. It's going to be a very short session. It's Wednesday the 12th of Feb. We've got an east-northeast sea rolling in. I was told by the weatherman that the wind was going to drop. It hasn't. It's quite cold. I was also told by another app that the sea was going to drop, which it hasn't, because I don't know if you can hear that. I can't really tell because it's pitch black. There's no moonlight. It's overcast. The rain stopped, luckily, but there's a fair bit of movement on, which hopefully, you never know, might push a fish or two in. It's going to be very short and sweet. I've got a very big ebb tonight. It's about 0.6, so I'm just waiting for the tide to drop a bit more. It's racing out. Thought instead of waiting on the dog, I'll just sit here, quickly bait up a couple of rigs, and then I'm ready to go as soon as I pick my spot when I get over there. So quickly run you through the rig. Standard pulley. It is a Trident start right pulley, 75 pound rig body, 6 ounce gripper, 40 pound rotten bottom, little rotter, Trident kicker clip. It's got this plastic sleeve which helps the aero pulley, because what it does, you get a fish, hopefully, bang, that locks in. If the fish turns, that stays. His sinker doesn't drop back down. So very nifty, intelligent little design there, but very effective. Then we've got a power swivel, 60 pound amnesia, 6/0 mustard demon circle on the top, and on the business end we've got a Camazan 6/0 B950U uptied, and I've gone for a big long shank hook because I'm going to be using quite long fingers of frozen cod, probably with a bit of wing or maybe bluey lashed onto them. So they're the rigs. Let's get one baited up. Right, so quick bait up here. So as I say, I've got some cart sticks. First things first, as always with amnesia, just take a second to straighten your line out, and it'll save you a load of problems. Right, so recently just kind of got into using these, and I've got to say they are good. What I'm going to do is bait mate. This I've ordered a new one actually. This one is actually made for dongles, but the other one should be on my desk at work, but I've been out the office today, so I'm having to make do with this dongle one, but I'm sure we'll survive. So all I'm doing is just laying that half a wing onto that bait mate like that. I'm not going too hard on the bait mate, because you go really tight, and I have noticed it's difficult to slide the bait off. But I'm just going to use that initially, that bit of wing, just to get that into position. I'm keeping the hook, the gape of the hook, really proud, so if anything does get its mouth around it, yeah, so you can see, even with that wing slightly defrosted, it's a little bit tricky. These, you'll notice, come in all shapes and sizes, because again, and I remember explaining this last winter, week of cold temperatures, and what does me trusty freezer, or not so trusty freezer, do? It thinks, well, I think it thinks that it's being sustainable, so it turns off and works off ambient temperature. So of course, in reality, what actually happens is everything inside your freezer starts to defrost, including all of your prime winter cod bait that you've worked hard and spent your hard-earned money on. So very annoying. Consequently, I had to work, because I didn't have any sort of molds, like finger type molds that you would use for kids ice lollies or whatever. So I'm just having to sit there with pretty much defrosted coral, pushing it through a tube into bandages, trying to work with it, and you can imagine the mess. It was absolutely horrific. So I've ended up with my last probably dozen or so sticks, which come in all weird and wonderful shapes and sizes, but I'm hoping that that's not too much of an issue. So I'm just getting that. I've modded these hooks ever so slightly. I don't know if you can see, I've bent the eye back just so when you're pedaling them it's a little bit easier. So I'm just going to get that on the top of that bandage there, get that one out the way, and then do the same with the second. And the tide's already dropped a lot around us, so I should be able to walk on there fine in a minute. So I'm going to get this other one baited up and get over there and hopefully get a bait in the water. Right, we are here. I can confirm it's pretty wild, but still got a couple hours till bottom water, so I'm hoping as the hole empties a little bit, it might just calm down slightly. So this is definitely gonna have to be a rod and hand job, this, because there'll be a lot of pull, and as anyone that's fished bog hole, you'll know fine well it's not quite as easy as that just being like ledges in front of you. You've just got like lumps of rock further out that you've got to try and negotiate. So it is a little bit of a tricky place. At least tonight though, with it being a big tide, I will be able to see where the lumps of rock are. So let's get this first one out. We'll just see what the lie of the land is and how much pull there is. I've got 6-ounce sinkers with us. I'm using my Com SS, which I've just got back actually after it fell over at Camas and cracked the ring. And I've got my Power Aero 14,000 XSC PG, which is the 3.5 retrieve, so it should be a bit more torquey. We are lucky enough to get anything. So let's get this out and see if there's anything there. I don't want to speak too soon, but that wind does feel like it's dropped slightly. I'm gonna have to be very careful here, because there's some. It looks, to be fair, it looks absolutely lovely in the middle of there. It's just going to be a case of kind of almost overcompensating for the wind, so when it inevitably blows me the bow that's left in the air back, I'm kind of I'm not trying to widen my line back over these rocks, so I'm going to chuck it a bit further to the right, give myself plenty of time. Check that's not wrapped. This comp feels like a bit of a different rod when it's got this Power Aero compared to Saragossa on it. Right, straight away. Right, so I'm okay. Got that line going straight out in the middle, which is what I want. Right people, disaster, immediate disaster, because exactly what I've just explained I was trying to avoid, I didn't manage to avoid, because I came back, put the rod in the stand, tried to sort the camera out, and that's what happens when you take your eye off the ball in these conditions. So within minutes we're down to 10 players, and this is why I bring a spare spool with a spare leader on, just to keep us fishing straight away. So I'm going to get this back out, and I'm just going to have to stand over there and just be very, very careful with it and see what happens, because take my eye off the ball for a second. There's that much pull out there. I'm just getting dragged into those rocks. So here's what it is. You can probably tell by the tone of my voice that I'm pretty peed off. It'll be typical that I've had this rod just sorted out and that it's fallen over, hit the rocks in pretty much the same place as the Ziplex HST hit the rocks 2 years ago. But looking at the rings, I think we got away with it. There would have been some serious tears if we hadn't. Toys right out the pram, I can tell you. Really hoping I can get a fish with that power arrow, because it's pretty much brand spankers, although it's starting to age rapidly every time it hits the deck like that. But it's new in terms of its age. It's cool tonight, but as you can see, that cart is defrosting. It's probably about 4 or 5 degrees, maybe, I don't know, 2, 3 with a wind chill. Right, we'll stand over there with this one and see if I can do any better. Right, well, square hole seems to be absolutely packed with weed. I'm getting, as soon as my gear's in the water, it's just getting broadsided by weed. So don't know whether to try and push a bit further forward, cast due east for 5 minutes and just test it. And if that doesn't work, I'll go at the end. But even then, the sea's that heavy, I'll have to be very careful. But I'll have one more chuck here. I'm not holding out any hope, but if I can hold bottom, I don't know, we'll see. So this is straight away turning into a very testing session, but we'll see. Well, I'm trying very hard not to swear, because this is just going from bad to worse. Cast further out to the right in an attempt to try and cast into the sea rather than across it. Just shitloads of weed, and it's just picked my gear up and just ripped it straight across a load of rock. Bang, braid gone. And I'm looking over at the front of the rock and just seeing white water. Oh, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and play it safe. It could be a waste of time, because there's obviously a lot of weed out there, but I'm going to go on the other side and see if I can just get in where it's a bit calmer and just plop into the hole out the way of the main kind of washing machine, and just see if I can get an hour and a half's fishing there. Because this very moment I'm tempted to just pack up and go home, but I don't want to be defeated that easily. Made the effort to come out, but this is turning into an absolute calamity. This, I'm not going off those rocks off the front. There's nobody about. I'm literally the only person here, and it just seems a bit daft. I'm just going to play it safe and tuck myself in there and see. So, pretty peed off. Right. After more chew and faff, we're baited back up, got a new leader on. I'm going to give this a couple of chucks into here. If it's loaded with weed, then I'm afraid we're not going to be doing much, but got a nice big dark area. It's just whether or not that weed's further out or whether it's all dumping in here, but we'll find out. Right, well, so far that bait's been in about 10 minutes and we seem to be able to be fishing pretty comfortably, dare I say it, although I have just felt a couple of spits of rain. Yep. Oh, it's just not happening tonight, is it? No matter what I try, it is just not happening. If that rain starts, I'm calling it. Got about 50 minutes till high water, till bottom water. So if there's anything in there, you'd hope that if it was going to hang around it would, or if it was going to leave, it'll have gone. But I'm going to have, either way, point being it's going to narrow and shallow, so if there is anything there, I'm going to know within a couple of casts anyway, so I'm not going to stand here all night. I've got, whoop, just a little knot there. Give it another couple of minutes and then wind it in, lash another coral stick onto it. No, nothing on that. Obviously nothing was going to run smoothly there, was it? Because of course the bottom hook had snapped, so I'm having to put the fourth trace of the night on in as many casts. So let's just take bets on what's going to go wrong next, frankly. So as I say, the gear I'm using tonight is the trusty Century Comp SS 13'10", 4 to 7 ounce. Great rod for rough ground. And my pretty new Shimano Power Aero 14,000. That's the PG. It's loaded with 61 pound whiplash. And this particular spool's now got 120 pound thick rubbing 4-strand braid leader. And even though I'm going to weigh them, but the difference between the Saragossa and the Power Aero in terms of how the whole rod feels, how it's balanced, it's amazing what a few ounces difference in a reel will do. So provided that this thing is up to the job in terms of the heaviest to ground, then sadly the Saragossa might be seeing a bit less action, but time will tell. We're only at the end of the season now, so we'll give it a bit more of a workout during the summer, hopefully. And Gary and I booked to go to Norway in June, so it'll definitely be getting its metal tested there. But right now, here in Northumberland, there ain't a lot happening. I might have one last chuck. I might just whack a big full wing on in behind that kelp into that black water. It looks, to be fair, it looks absolutely bang on in there now. This wind just hasn't stopped. It's still howling in off the sea. And luckily there's no weed here. It was just getting washed about. I mean, who knows? If I'd stayed about out there, maybe it would have been fishable. I don't know, but I'm on a very limited time slot tonight, so I didn't want to waste time by just standing around out there. And to be honest, as you could probably tell, I was pretty peed off, so I fancy just getting tucked in somewhere where I could just fish basically and get a bait in the water, which I managed to do here. So I'll give this another 5, probably whack one more big wing bait out. Right, that last bait ready to go. I've just got a full wing and I've just lashed it straight onto what was left of that coral. So last chance saloon. This might even be the last cast of the 24-25 winter cod season, most likely up in Northumberland anyway. Yep, getting a knock here. Right, well, I plopped that one pretty close, full wing, and I was rewarded with that. Probably, I'll wait in a second, be at least 4. It's very sort of tentative pluck, it's nailed that full wing and coral bait. They are, I am absolutely over the moon with that. It's been a very, very hard night indeed. I thought it was going to be over before it even started, to be perfectly honest, but just shows sometimes perseverance pays and you get your rewards. It's been chilly, I've had lost gear, snap leaders, everything, but one short plop at the death just in behind that kelp, and sure enough there was something sitting in the hole despite the big tide, just lingering around in that kelp. So I'm going to get him gutted because I do like eating cod, and he will go down a treat. Beautifully conditioned fish that. I'll get it weighed in a second. Fin perfect fish. We'll get it dispatched. Get in. Right, well, after getting a fish like that, it would be rude not to just chuck that bait back out for 10 minutes, wouldn't it, just as this tide turns. I feel like I've got to do it. Right, let's quickly measure this fella. Measure? Weigh him. Right, he's unhooked, so there's no bait or anything in his mouth. It's on to 0 there. And he is 5'8". So that is a good end to what is probably the final throes of the winter cod season. I can't really see me getting out targeting cod when the sea's away again until probably September, maybe August, you never know. So I'm happy with that. It's been, fair to say, a bloody tough session at times. Lost gear, weed, rods falling over, so I had to just tuck into somewhere. I had to follow my nose a little bit, and luckily it paid off. So really pleased with that fish. It's one of the most satisfying I've caught, really, because I was ready to throw the towel in and pretty much jack in before it even started. So pleased with that. I'm gonna get packed up, get home and get to bed because I've got work tomorrow. So hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, tight lines, keep fishing. We'll see you soon.